Gentlemen, welcome to Las Vegas.
Is that right?
Everybody eating? Good. Everybody sober? Close enough. All right, before we get started, nobody's on the line here yet. What I'm about to propose to you is both highly lucrative and highly dangerous. That doesn't seem like your particular brand of vodka. Help yourself to as much food as you like and have a safe journey. No hard feelings. Otherwise, come with me.
Who's up for some beers?
I am.
That's the smartest thing I've heard all day.
Pac-Man? They invented Pac-Man? That cherry-chasing dot muncher isn't even part of this game! Those nerds! Nerds!
You're hot.
Oh, I'm just a social drinker. Every time someone says I'll have a drink, I say, so shall I.
I love scotch.
They tossed the bar! The whole fucking bar!
Then as of this moment, they're on double secret probation.
I'll have you know I can flatten steel with my thigh.
Oh, baby, you know how to turn my gears.
Pointed to your boobies.
Enough of this chit-chat. Let's get to it then.
Shall we play a game?
Well, welcome everybody to the Kind of a Big Deal Gaming Podcast. This is actually episode number 10. This is about 8 more episodes than I ever thought we'd get to. So we are so happy to have you. I am joined by a parkour expert. And you might not know this, but she invented Post-its. It's true. She's the one that actually did that. And she also knows how to fly a plane. She is Tess, of course. Tess, how are you?
I am blessed, but because I am obviously so skilled.
It's amazing every week the things that we add to your resume.
I know.
And I'm kind of astounded, by the way. Just to be in your presence is pretty fantastic. Now, our next person is not a guest any longer. This person is no longer a guest. This is now the third member of the Kind of a Big Deal Gaming Podcast, which is really cool. And I don't know if you knew this, Tess, but he is all about the treble, not the bass. He's all about the treble. And when he looked at the dress, by the way, you know when we had that dress that everybody thought was different colors?
Uh-huh.
He actually saw it as orange and chartreuse. So,
impressive.
Right, it's a little more impressive. And another little fact about our now third host is that he can build almost anything out of Legos. You may not have known that. He is Tachi. Tachi, how are you?
I am doing excellent.
That's fantastic. I'm excited to hear it because I built you up as the most awesome person in the whole world. So you should be like, I am doing amazing. I rock. But
Could you build me like a dog out of Legos?
I'm going to answer for him. Yes, he could.
In Minecraft, maybe.
Ooh.
Not Legos?
Okay.
Legos,
I think he could do it. I think if he put his mind to it, he would actually have it. It wouldn't be that big of a deal. So he could kind of do that. Well, we have, in case you didn't know, we have the very best show that we've ever done. This is it. If you are tuned in live right now, you are watching it as it unfolds on both Hitbox TV and Twitch TV. So this is groundbreaking stuff here. And if you want to get a hold of us, there's a few ways. You can go to thekindofabigdeal.com. Nope, don't go to that one. That's the clown penis one. Go to the kindofabigdealgaming.com website. The Kind of a Big Deal. Kind of a Big Deal is not a good place to go. It's just it's just a clown penis. You can play with it too, which is really weird. It's the only place on the internet I know where you can play with a clown penis. I don't understand how we picked a name.
I bet
so
it's
close
not
to that.
the only place on the internet that you can play with the clown penis.
Well,
I'm sure there are others.
Maybe somebody will send us a message and tell us where else we might be able to play with the clown penis. Anyway, you can also contact us on Twitter by going to at Big Deal GP. Twitter is at Big Deal GP. I'm just having a hard time. Well, I'll get into it. I'm just messing everything up. I knew I was going to do that. I just knew I was going to do that. So at Big Deal GP. So please tweet us. And by the way, if you're using the Hitbox TV, the Twitter feed is actually right in there, so you can actually tweet us while we're going live on the show, which is kind of cool as well. Now, the other place you can reach us is bigdealgp@gmail.com. So if you want to send us an actual message, you can do that there. We also have a phone number, but I've completely lost it. So I have no idea what the phone number is. So we'll maybe go back to a couple episodes ago and find out what the phone number is, because I don't even know what the phone number is. I'm not sure it's important, because we just get people with their clown penises sending us messages. Anyway, wanted to tell you guys just last week we did set a record for listeners, so I want to thank all of the interwebs out there for listening to us. That was really, really cool. We had an awful lot of listeners. Please give us a shout out on iTunes by leaving us some sort of a review, and also if you're on Stitcher, get the word out by giving us a thumbs up there. That would be really, really cool. So guys, what are you drinking tonight?
Well, hang on, I have the phone number.
Oh, well, just go for it. Take over the show.
The phone number is 801-893-1737. You can leave us a voicemail.
There you go. So leave us a voicemail. But I got to tell you, just make sure it's funny, because I really don't have time in my day for anything that's not funny. So don't suck when you leave a message on there. Be hilarious. So again, what are you drinking?
Well, I have just Michelob Light, but I also found this. This is kind of cool. It's called Vinique. Okay, that's what it is. But look, watch. Ooh.
It's all swirly. It's kind of like the Men in Black. You know that scene where they look into the little jewelry piece and they can see the galaxies. That's what it looks like. It's like, but it's a drink that is like that. That's really cool.
And it's purple and it tastes like blueberries.
It's great. It's just fabulous.
I gotta have some of that.
I'm really impressed. I'm really, really impressed. Well, I am having just a Pabst Blue Ribbon, so that's what I'm having, because I'm right now I'm in a Pabst Blue Ribbon state of mind. I've been for like the last month. This is just what I have. I have Pabst Blue Ribbon. How about you, Tachi?
Yeah, I'm just drinking tea.
Tachi is drinking
tea.
Now, that is a step up, because I think last week he was drinking Dr. Pepper or something. So this is a step up for him.
I still got some.
See?
The
there you go.
The new sponsor of the podcast giving us like $0.
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Free advertisement.
Yeah, right. This podcast cost me like negative $60 a month, I think, to put on. So it's great. Well, on that note, we have something extremely, extremely special that we're going to start the show off with. Are you ready, Tachi? Because you're the one that's going to be introing this thing. Are you ready for this?
Sure.
All right. So we are going to do something. We promised this last week. We are going to reenact a scene from Star Wars, but we're going to do it in Shakespearean English. So it's just going to be fantastic. And because I'm already slurring my speech and I had 2 shots and 2 beers before the show started, we're going to
see how it goes.
It's going to be epic. It's going to be great, because these are tongue twisters as is, and I can't even pronounce my own name. Okay, here we go. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll this out. Here we go. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
William Shakespeare, Star Wars, by Ian Dosher. Verily, A New Hope. Act 5, Scene 3. Space aboard the Millennium Falcon. Enter Han Solo and Princess Leia.
Thy rescue hath been wondrous. Thinkest thou not? Say I at times, I do myself amaze. Amazing hath my rescue has been. Amazing is my hand at piloting, and amazing all my part in this escape. Amazing, eh? 'Tis true, my handsome looks.
Amazing is thy pride and love of self. Thus stand I now amazed that ere thou shouldst allow thy great amazing self to stoop so low that thou wouldst rescue such as I. But let me now amaze thee, if I may, by telling thee that thy amazement is misplaced. For never have imperial ships let enemies escape with such great ease as thou and thy amazing vessel have now just amazingly escaped.
Nay, nay, callest thou this venture easy? Princess, psh.
I'll warrant we are being tracked even now.
This ship shall never tracked be, good sis.
Methinks thou dost upon this vessel far too great a trust-bestow. But none of that. I merely am relieved that R2 doth the information safely in him guard.
But wherefore does this matter, princess, say? What carries he?
Rebellion's greatest hope, for he doth hold the readouts technical unto that battle station. I, the one that such great power displayed o'er Alderaan. My hope it is that when the data be read, an inner weakness we shall find. Though thou hast seen this battle end, the war has not concluded yet.
But there thou errst. Thou dost not speak my mind, for the ship and its pilot, princess. 'Tis concluded now. I have not joined thy revolution. Nay, my purpose runs not to rebellion help. My purpose runs to assist thyself. My purpose runs... Oh my god. That was hilarious. Okay. Hold on. I gotta go back. Character. Wayne's World. Okay, there we go. 'Tis concluded now. I have not joined thy revolution. Nay, my purpose runs not to rebellion help. My purpose runs not to assist thyself. My purpose runs towards one aim, and one aim alone. And I do speak it plain. It shall be paid, and I will be paid, and every aspect of my being lives in expectation of the moment when thou shalt my coffers fill.
O fiendish knave, be thou concerned not o'er thy reward. If thou in money dost find love, then surely thou shalt have it, aye.
Enter Luke Skywalker.
Thy friend is every part a hired man, a mercenary with no mercy he. I question whether he doth care for aught or anyone. Exit Princess Leia.
Pray tell me, Han, what dost thou think of her?
I tell thee true, my mind is settled fast when it thinks of not her, of her.
'Tis well, 'tis well.
And yet the woman truly hath a spirit bold, and yet I know not. What thinkest thou, I pray? Thinkest thou a princess could with me be?
Nay. Exeunt.
There you go. There you go. We killed that. That was easily one of the greatest podcasting moments in the history of podcasting. If you guys were listening live, you guys were in for that was just amazing.
God, that was so funny.
I think it's good she gave us the number, because now I think Disney's going to call us and ask us to be voice actors.
Actually, probably Disney's going to call us and tell us we can't air this podcast because we've broken every copyright in the first 3 minutes of podcasting that has ever been. But that was fantastic. I feel like we should just act all the time. I feel like that's what we should do. Maybe this podcast should be a radio podcast where we just act out awesome scenes, because that was really good.
I was very impressed, Boomy, with your command of the Shakespearean English.
Did you like that? Now, see, I had been working really hard on that. I wanted to be Han, but I wanted to be like Han in that time, right? So I had to envision what Han Solo would be like in that Elizabethan era. That's what I had to be. I had to envision that.
And you get extra points for knowing it's the Elizabethan era.
It was the Elizabethan era. It was fantastic. It was really, really good. Well,
that was awesome.
I am super proud of all of our hard work on that. And so props to us. We're going to just roll into our next segment, because last week we ran wrong, and I don't want to run long this week. So I want to try to get through everything. We have so much great stuff to talk about. Last week we started a series in which we talked about what if we were to build a game, right? Because a lot of podcasts out there, they're always like, I don't like this and I don't like that. And we all are just griping about crap every week. But what if we were to build a game? What would it have? And so this is what we came up with so far. So this is the Boom Test and Tachi 3-person game that we've made so far. It would have a combat style that would be kind of like the Secret World. So it's a mix of tap targeting, live action, and all of that stuff, all kind of in one. We would want a large world. We decided we think that it's better to have a large world than a world where it's focused, so a little more sandboxy. We want 100% voice acting, and as we just saw, voice acting is not very hard. I just did it. I kill at voice acting. I could do it. Just hire me up. I'll do game voice acting. Piece of cake. We got it. I'll do it in Shakespearean English even, and then. we wanted, and I thought this was one of the coolest things ever. Tachi mentioned the quest differentiation to allow for a variety of playstyles to complete the same objective. That is a really great idea, and I thought that was just brilliant on your behalf.
Yep, that's for me. That's the number one thing that I have to have in an MMO from now on going out, because I level too many characters, especially if I just fall in love with an MMO. I just have too many, and it gets so boring leveling alts. So I want as many options open to me to make the leveling experience different from character to character. Or
so basically, you want to play WildStar.
Or I want to play something like Final Fantasy or the Skyforge, where one character, I don't have to have alts. I can just have one character and get everything in that one character.
That is
either
very
or.
true.
I think that's cool.
I dislike the alt thing. I'm getting tired of it.
What?
Yeah, I also wanted to add. Oh, go ahead.
I just missed what Boom said.
I was just saying I'm getting tired of alts. I do appreciate that. I'm actually I don't have any time anymore, and I'm playing 2 different games specifically right now where they're getting all of my attention, and just with those 2 games getting all of my attention, I don't really have the extra time in a day to spend leveling alts and doing all of that type of stuff.
So I wanted to also add that also make it so you could level up by the way you want to play. Like say you don't like questing, you could do nothing but PvP, or if you want to craft, you can level up by doing nothing but crafting, like I did in Arcades from like 30 to 50. I did nothing but crafting.
Right, I agree. There should be multiple ways, because there's, as I found in Star Wars this week, which I played a little bit, there's no right way. I haven't quested in Star Wars in 2 planets, and I think that's really cool that I have the option to do some other stuff and level and skip through that. It's not that I wanted to miss the content. I just was having fun doing the other stuff, and it's really cool that I'm making progress while I do it. So I couldn't agree with you more. Yeah. So this week, I thought we would explore the idea of what type of world would we want this to be set in.
So genre.
Kind of that way. Yeah, like genre would be like, do we want a fantasy, like an old world fantasy, or do we want it to be in space? Like
science fiction?
Like,
maybe?
do we want science fiction, those types of things? Do we want it to be more realistic or more fake? Do we want it to be more cartoony with more, crazy stuff going on, or realistic? Do we want it to be complicated or more simplistic? These are like some core elements. So let's start with the first one. Let's do with the genre. What type of world? Okay. Old school, new school. What do you think?
My personal opinion in this is I really don't care if it's a modern or futuristic. So like if it's a modern genre or a like Secret World, or if it's a sci-fi genre. I am just done with sword and board. I'm done with plate armor and swords. I'm done. I don't want to play those anymore. And that's me. I know that we're going to get into an argument with this. But I'm finished. That's why I had so much fun with Secret World. Give me some guns, give me some grenades, and SWTOR give me lightsabers would be okay. That's not Star Wars is fantasy. It's not science fiction, but I just don't want sword and board anymore. I'm done with it.
Right. What do you think, Sachi?
Well, I still love the WoW fantasy, shields and swords and bows and stuff, but I could see playing a really good sci-fi futuristic, but it's got to be not like Star Wars, where Star Wars has boring technology. I want to more like Star Trek, where you have the ships and I know Star Wars has faster than light travel, but not like teleporters, shields, and I just like the real far into the future.
Right, it's kind of cool.
Well, technically,
when you do...
Star Wars isn't in the future.
Right, Star Wars is a
galaxy. Long time ago.
I'm talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
but I mean, they're still futuristic to us.
Yes.
Considering we don't have ships.
Mm-hmm. But, yes, I understand. I was just being a bitch.
That was kind of crazy. But, I get your point, actually. And that's one of the things I was thinking about was a little more innovation, I guess, in the story concept. So, my thing is if you go into a space kind of a world, you shouldn't be limited by any of the traditional thoughts. You should be able to come up with amazing, crazy weapons and different things that nobody's maybe even thought of yet. Whereas the more traditional stuff with the sword and board, as Tess always refers to it as, that stuff is kind of bound by like a set of traditional rules because it's almost based in history. So there's a lot of games out there that are based in historical events, and they kind of draw from some of that stuff. I would like to see something happen where we get the new lightsaber, but it's not a lightsaber. It's something new and cool and awesome, but it's something that expands upon our creativity and gives us something that's just like, it's just amazing and creative.
Well, and I'm 100% with that. Futuristic, I think it would be fine. But I also think modern would be fun. Something that's super modern and
but
just
every modern game goes to zombies.
But that's just
like
it.
the
We would do
default.
zombies just because
Right?
all the other modern games are zombies doesn't mean ours has to be zombies.
So like, give me an idea. So if we go with a modern game, right? What would that be? What would the bad guy be in a modern game? What would be the thing that we have to fight against?
We could still do monsters. They wouldn't have to be zombies. I mean, we could do a whole thing about pulling back the veil, that all the things that that all the fairy tales are real. All the fairy tales are real.
that'd be
There
cool.
are the,
I'm down with
werewolves and vampires, and they're all living among us, and we have to fight them.
Grimm.
Now I think
Yeah,
you just
very much like Grimm.
I think you just hit on something that's really cool. That would be awesome to have a game based in fairy tales. Just completely outlandish fairy tales. That would be
Well, and it
so
doesn't
much fun.
just have to be fairy tales. I mean, it's all urban legend, because there's that old adage that all of these stories have to have some basis
Oh, for
in
sure.
reality, because
Right.
they transcend all cultures. So, all of these old monsters, and we can bring them all in. So fairy tales can be included, but then your traditional monsters can be included. And the idea that it's a big cover up, everything is being covered up. It's this idea of nothing is as it seems. Kind of conspiracy. It's been,
Absolutely.
hidden forever. Everything is kind of hiding in the shadows, and we have to fight that. That's my modern
That's got
idea.
kind of a J.R. Tolkien, C.S. Lewis kind of a vibe to it, because that's what they always preached as they were writing their books and stories. They were always saying, we're drawing from all of these historical fairy tales that are, based moderately in some sort of a truth, and we're deriving these new creatures and things. And that's why dragons and all of that stuff is kind of a reoccurring theme in a lot of this fantasy, is because that is a tale that is taught in a lot of different ancient lore. So, they had kind of that idea, but they were groundbreaking in how they took it to the next level. And so I would love to see something like that gets taken to the next level. I just think space has been kind of a letdown, because we always think of space and we apply the current rules that we have here to our space stuff. And really, when you talk about space, it's just unlimited. Anything you can think of. That's my thought.
And there, I think it's for exactly the same reason that you just said. I think it's difficult to do space. I think it's
Right.
difficult to
It
do
is.
futuristic, because
It
it's
is.
like
You're
we have
inventing.
to be
Right.
Yeah, we
have
don't
to
know
be
what
cool.
you don't know what that is.
But if I was
Yeah.
talking about my perfect game, I would say that we're going to be cool. Like, we're going to be better than, right? We're going to make the most awesome game ever. And the most awesome game ever, I feel, needs to be a futuristic game. That's just the way I think.
Yeah.
What do you think, Touch?
Well, I mean, there's all kinds of good genres, but I like sci-fi a lot. I like I'm just a kind of Star Trek person to begin with, so I just like that type of game.
Yeah,
Well,
But
can
here
we
I am
agree?
I'm playing fantasy games right now. I'm playing Final Fantasy, and then I'm playing WoW, so it's my main one. So
Right.
I really could take any kind as long as it's done well.
Well,
The only thing I wanna say, Tess-
let's do near future.
The only thing I want to say, Tess, is when we build this game, this is something you should probably just write down right into the thing that we want
Okay.
done. I want the Koreans to program the boob physics. In whatever game we do, I want Korean boob physics added to our title.
Oh God.
So I don't
We're
know
gonna
how many. I don't know how
outcall
many
that graphics
titles
to
you've
Korean.
played that are Korean, but that's the way to go. Just saying,
I'm afraid.
right?
I'm afraid. All right, so do you want me to put boob physics on this?
Well, I would like to hire an entire team. I'm thinking it's probably going to take 20, 30 people to really get the
So-
physics down, to get the proper breast movement. You know, I'm talking like running, jogging, jumping, maybe trampolining, standing on handstands, all of the typical boob activities you would think of. I don't want this game looking fake. I want it real. I'm really doing this for the ladies. I don't want anything to be, funky here. I want it to be legit.
Well, then that goes into the next thing. Do you want it to be real or fake?
Well,
Do you want it to be realistic or cartoony?
Cartoony when it comes to dick physics, but then boob physics, real but exaggerated.
Oh
That'd
my
be what I'd
God.
say.
Shut up.
Doesn't that sound about right?
You're a dick.
Well,
And you're an exaggerated dick
in the
physic.
game, my cartoony, wiener would be fantastic.
Oh my God.
But that would be cartoony, and maybe that should be a slot. Maybe that should be a slot that you can upgrade. Right? It should be like
Your dick?
It should be like a penis upgrade slot that you can like add stuff like. You can get a Viagra upgrade, gives you 4 hours of XP boost. But if it goes longer than 4 hours, it actually takes away from your XP because that's dangerous. Right?
That
I'm
only
just saying,
works if you can get STDs, so you can get like a debuff, and you have to go to the doctor to get penicillin to get it removed.
I'm just right. You have to go. Yeah, right. It's a debuff unless you get it removed, which means that there's a class that can remove all of the penile issues that might come
All
from
right, away from the
from your
penis
buff.
talk. Let's
Okay.
get back.
Back to boobs. All right. What do you think?
No, let's
Okay.
get back to real or fake.
Okay, real.
That's also about boobs.
right.
but no,
That's what I was
real-
gonna say.
real
I'm
or
voting fake.
imagery.
That's why I
What
said
do
I
you
wanted.
think?
To,
What do you think,
I
there,
wanted
Tachi?
to.
Do
I
you
wanted
want
to.
the graphics to be realistic or cartoony?
Cartoony's fine, but I want them. They don't have to be too cartoony. They can be wildish, stylized, or like I said, Final Fantasy.
Stylized.
They're
I like
all-
that. Yeah.
Right.
Because
I agree. It's the boob
if you-
physics. Mm-hmm.
No, the reason I agree with you, Tachi, and I'm covering up Boom so he can't distract me, is that I'm concerned that a lot of those games that try to look super realistic, it doesn't, and it just looks bad.
And then it's dated
in
about
10
a
years'
week
time-
ago. Yeah. Right.
In 10 years' time, the realistic graphics look like crap.
Right.
Because the graphics have improved so much over time.
Yeah. Boob physics live forever, though.
Stylized. That's going on the list.
Well, I agree. I think it should be stylized and it should have some sort of a futuristic kind of a feel to it. There should be some brand new weapon type that has never been thought of before. That would be what I'd like to see. So I think we've come up with a few really good ideas. If you guys have further ideas for us, we would love you to email those ideas to us. So if you want to be on the boob physics team, as an example, just send us an email at bigdealgp@gmail.com. We would love to have you help us, design the Hooters, to figure them out, not too big, not too small, all of that type of stuff, real, fake. We'll discuss that. We'll put you on the team. It'll be real good. And that's all I have
Next week
to say.
Next week we'll do. Next week we'll do the class system.
Oh,
The
talk about
classes.
classes.
There you go.
Good
We'll talk
idea.
about classes.
For
I would-
futuristic.
I thought Tachi was going to say next week we'll just talk about boobs. The whole show. We'll just go into every single game category. We'll just talk boobs the whole show.
So what classes at home would you like to see? Fuck you, Boom. What kind of classes would you guys like to see? Send us an email at bigdealgp@gmail.com.
There you go. There you go.
And be sure to mention that Boom's a sexist and
I'm not a
they're going to
sexist.
boycott the
I'm not.
stream.
I love all things boobs. It's not sexist. I just, it's not. It's not really not. Okay.
The SJWs are going to send you some hateful emails.
Oh, well, I don't think they will actually because I like them too.
Don't. Boom is very nice to ladies. He's
I am.
just horny all the time.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. I just want the Koreans to design it. If you played a Korean game, you understand what I'm saying. I played your Arcade game for about 5 minutes, and guess what I did? I didn't put any clothes on the person. I just walked around with no clothes. That's all I did the whole entire game. It was almost like, back in the day when you'd play Sims.
He's turning into Fred Durst.
Exactly.
He doesn't just look like Fred Durst anymore. Now he's turning into him.
By the way, that's why my hat's backwards, is because I'm doing. Apparently, there's some resemblance there. So I don't know if that's good or bad. You guys can talk about it. Well, let's move on. Let's move right into SWTOR talk. By the way, just one more update. Make sure you send those emails to us. bigdealgp@gmail.com. All right. So SWTOR this week, I made it to level 34, so I'm pretty excited. And the funny part is I have not quested, I think, since level 15. I've just been, I hop on each night, and what I do is I do my Flashpoint dailies, I do my PvP dailies, and I do my Starfighter dailies, and then I just go to bed, and I'm already level 34, and I have not done any of the questing. Now, I'm not saying that's good. I would probably, I'm missing out on a lot of really cool stuff, I'm sure. But it's really cool that I can just level in an alternate way. I think it's fun that I don't have to pick a specific way to level. I don't just have to grind out these quests. It's been really a lot of fun.
Yeah, we played together. That was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah,
it was
on last Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, last Sunday we all got together and we played some. We did some PvP and got our asses kicked.
But we did some Starfighter. And by the way, I picked the only clip where we just kicked ass. There was one clip where Tachi came in and he just like swooped in and destroyed a ship, and I got it in my screen, and that was really cool. And Tess, you were on there going, "Go Tachi," and it was really awesome. And then I swooped in and killed this other guy, and so that's the only clip I put up. But what you don't realize is that most of the time we were just getting our ass handed to us. But that's okay. That's okay.
We're not very good.
We're not very good, but it's so fun, though. I love Starfighter.
Yeah.
I really do love that. Now, this is what I've realized about Starfighter, though. A lot of people play Starfighter, and they say, I don't really like it. And it's not the SWTOR game. It is like a separate game. You really have to learn it separate. It takes, like, skill and time to become really good at Starfighter. So if you just are, questing and you hop into Starfighter and you get your butt handed to you, it's because you're not practicing. You really have to treat it almost as if it's a separate title. So that's my thought on Starfighter. Play it like it's a different game. Right? It's
well,
really
you know what
fun.
it reminds me of? It reminds me of the X-Wing games that came out in like the early 90s.
For sure. Yeah, it does for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it feels like. It's so much fun.
Have you guys noticed though? I don't know how much other stuff you've been playing, but I've been noticing there is a lot of players right now. Every zone I go to is full, and my queues are popping instantly. So if I queue for a flashpoint, for instance, it's almost instant that I'm in the flashpoint. It's been a lot of fun.
I haven't been playing too much just because I'm in that weird spot where I have some low-level characters and I have some high-level characters.
Right.
And the only thing I have in the middle is an agent or an Imperial agent character. And my first was a pew pew. I just don't like having to hit F and popping up my cover fire in order to do most of my stuff. Personally, I just don't like that play style. So that's why I haven't really been playing. I'm waiting for you to get level up so that I can bring out my assassin.
Has anybody else noticed though that when you're playing these games right now that we're almost in like the spring slump, video gaming spring slump?
We are.
Yeah.
That's exactly. It's completely opposite. It's a lot like movies.
Yeah.
There are seasons where you see all the really good movies come out, and there are seasons where you see all the really good games and all the really good content come out. And we're in that slump. We probably about June we'll get some more really cool content dropping for some games, but until then we have to ride a few months of kind of stuff.
Well, I've just been noticing. Itachi might be able to speak to this, but I've just been noticing like groups kind of dropping. There's not as many people available to play with. Well, it's kind of been crazy.
Well, I mean, I can get into it later, but I leveled my hunter in WoW after the new patch that come out that made all the buying an account gear cost gold. Mm-hmm. So I leveled from 1 to 60. I'm 60 right now. I haven't touched him since I started my Final Fantasy run. but I did that in like 19 hours, I think. 1 to 60 in 19 hours. No, it wasn't that much. It was 11 hours, sorry.
Right.
And I was getting instant queues as a hunter, just because, I don't know, the PvP, with the new bind an account gear system coming out, maybe more people were leveling. I don't know.
Right.
I've never experienced that. Usually when you level up, it's
Long
it's
queues.
like 30 minutes if you're a solo DPSer.
Absolutely.
And then they can't really say for Final Fantasy because there's an expansion coming out in June, so people are coming back to get ready for the expansion. So I don't know about SWTOR. I haven't been playing it much.
Well, and we'll talk about that a little bit, I think, when we come to WoW, because I have kind of a comment related to that. But no, I've just been noticing, like, in our own group, that it's just this time of year, everybody's like, I'm busy. There's just so many different things going on. It's like, you can't really raid on regular nights, and you can't really do all the things that you normally do with a group of people. It's just springtime, and the weather's good, and we want to get out of the house. And Tess and I just competed, by the way, last week in a Fitbit challenge.
You put it on the dog. I know you put your Where's my Fitbit?
No,
I
see,
took my Fitbit off.
This is the funny thing. So Tia, my wife, was actually just in second place to Tess's father. So it was really an exciting moment. And Tia and I actually walked right up to midnight. So we went from 11 to midnight, and we actually just walked around the block, and we made like 6 or 7 trips at midnight just to win our Fitbit challenge. And it was so much fun. Oh, no, we did.
He put it on the dog. He put it on the dog and let the dog go
Have you
right
seen my
around.
dog? My dog hasn't moved in like 3 days. Are you kidding me? My dog wouldn't get 10,000 steps a week if it tried. Well,
So he beat me by like 400 steps, not even.
no, I didn't. Well, no, I did beat you.
Or he
I
just-
just didn't.
or he
Yeah,
just shook
I
his
did
arm.
beat you. I beat you by
Yeah,
400
did
steps.
you do an arm shake cheat?
No, I did not.
Liar.
I did
Put it
not.
on
We
the
call
dog.
that there's an arm shake cheat that we.
It's
were
like
talking about
the
one time.
old Tamagotchi pets.
Right,
Remember
right.
those on
Yeah.
the little,
Uh-huh.
and you would shake them to act like you were walking.
Right. No, we actually we played it on the legit. Tia will not cheat, so she did not cheat. She went legit.
I didn't accuse Tia of cheating.
And it was a lot of fun. Well,
I
she's the one that
accused you of
won.
cheating.
But yeah, no, she
You're
actually
cheating.
She walked 2 extra times around the block just for me, so I could beat Tess. It was kind of fun. So,
Dick.
back to SWTOR. I actually this week I collected a whole bunch of housing stuff. Now, we've got garrisons in WoW, and we have housing in WildStar, and we've got all these different housings. And the SWTOR housing, I think, gets overlooked a little bit. But it's like having your own apartment. That's the only way I can describe it. It is not like having it doesn't feel like a house to me. It feels like I have my own little apartment. But the cool thing is all I have to do is really decorate it. I don't have to do a whole bunch of extra stuff to my apartment. But I went into the Galactic Market, and I just bought up a bunch of really cool housing stuff. And now when you walk into my house, it feels awesome. It's like this sweet bachelor pad with like stuff on the wall and pictures, and I've got my Galactic Market there. I've got everything I need to do, and it's actually a lot of fun. So I think it's an underrated part of the game that I'm really, really enjoying. It's the SWTOR
I
housing.
haven't decorated my house very much. I'll have to do that.
I haven't made it there. I'm only 20.
Right. Once you get your house, it's actually kind of fun, and it really becomes the hub for all your activities. But it doesn't feel like a grind because there's nothing to do in your house. You don't have to do anything in your house, which I think is the key, and that's why I like it. Now, in my WildStar house, I have to do a lot. I have to actually build it. I can build it from scratch. I can just take pieces and pile them together and make a house. This is just kind of like a place to drop my crap, and I really do like it. I think they hit on it more than they're given credit for, because
I kind of want to do stuff with my house, not to the garrison level, but
Right.
I want to be able, well, maybe it's a little bit of both. I want to be able to add on to it and unlock things in my house, and
right.
but I'd like to go to my house and do some stuff. I wish I could do some stuff.
Well, but I like to just be able to get in and like check my mail. I like to be able to go to the market.
But that is
I like
nice.
to
That's
be
just
able
the hub.
to craft really other than that, it's just like I want to travel wherever I want to go. And it's nice because you can go in your house and then you can just get on your starship and head anywhere you want to go. So
I have a question for you.
Yeah, what's up?
Okay, so you posted a picture into our show notes about the rewards for the next thing.
Right.
What rewards? It has like different rankings, different rewards you can get for different like levels.
Right, that's
what
for PvP.
levels of what? Is that PvP?
That is ranked PvP. So they've got their.
Then I'm not gonna get any of it. Okay.
Well, it just depends on if you do. I haven't been really doing ranked, but you should actually just do a few games of ranked because you can get a couple of the rewards just for participating. You don't have to win. You can just play.
I want to get that mount. That mount looks cool.
So that mount, then we're going to have to get good.
Yeah, and I'm not going to get good because I suck.
No, it's so much fun. Like, I think SWTOR has PvP in a really, really good place. WoW has had PvP in good places from time to time where it's just like, I'm like, wow, this is really, really good PvP and it's fun. It doesn't feel like you just die right away. It doesn't feel like you're just, just stuck to the ground the whole time while everybody just kills you. It feels good. SWTOR to me feels like that right now. It's in a really, really good place. And we could probably do okay if we could get the gear. So the key is you got to get the gear. So you have to run the non-ranked to get the tokens to get some of the ranked gear to kind of move up. And then once you have the ranked gear, you go in there and you won't just get blasted out the door. And we could probably play that.
Let's move on. We're running out of time.
Well, getting that is going to be tough. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's the Baron Deathmark's swashbuckling cutter mount, which that is a sweet mount. That's the one you were talking about, right?
Yeah, that looks cool.
Yeah, that's a really fantastic mount.
I'm making my shot.
You're making your shot. Well, guys, I've had a lot of fun in SWTOR. We're going to go ahead and move on. And by the way, if you have any questions or comments or you want to play, one of the things I did want to just add before we move on to the shot while Tess is making her shot is that I really, really, really want to run ops in this game. I'm desperate to run ops. And I may have to find a guild that I can run ops with because my current guild is just not everybody's just on like spring break. They're just on holidays. They're just out. So if you have a guild that you'd like to offer up for me to be a part of, I would love to hear that. All right, so let's talk about the one-shot boss. Let's do this one-shot boss. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to throw up this for Tess because she made this sound a while ago and I want to do it. Right on.
Yeah,
so here we go. The one-shot boss. Talk about the one-shot boss, Tess.
Okay, so this shot is called the Sith Code, and it's called that because I thought it sounded cool, and I had all these things in my liquor cabinet. It's not a real shot. I just made it up. And so it's at Parrot Bay, coconut rum, and then I have some Cointreau. Yes.
And I don't even know what that is. Can you explain to me what
orange.
That is? Because I don't know what that is. It's orange what?
Liqueur. So
orange liqueur.
You know how
Did you know what that
Midori is melon?
Tachi, did you have any idea what that is? Cointreau?
Cointreau.
Yeah, I know it was orange liqueur.
Oh, you did? Jeez. Yeah. I'm an idiot. Okay. All right.
Okay, so it's
Go
Cointreau, and it's some grenadine on top. And
Perfect.
This is what it looks like, the Sith Code.
It looks pretty awesome. Cool. Right, because it's a lightsaber. It's a lightsaber. Yeah. All right.
That's what it looks like.
Well, let's go ahead and roll out.
Isn't that cool? Because the grenadine is heavier than the rest of it.
It's fantastic. Let's go ahead and roll out the shot. Here we go. Cheers, everybody. Amazing.
That was pretty tasty. I might have to double brain this.
You're gonna double brain the Sith Code, the shot that you made out of all of your extra liquor in your liquor cabinet.
It's good. I like it.
I get it. I think it's fantastic. You are a shot genius. Now we just got to get Tachi taking the shots. That's the key that we got to get to. All right.
Liquor is expensive.
Anybody listening, please take the shot and tell me what you think. I made it up, and there it is again. I like how it separates. Isn't that cool?
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It's not quite the
All right,
brain.
one more.
It's not quite the zombie brain, but it's very, very good. There she goes. All right, there we go. We had our one-shot boss on. Pretty fantastic. That is, the recipe is on the website. It's called the Sith Code. There's also a video that accompanies that, so if you want to find out how to make that shot. Again, the one-shot boss is all about having a shot after you've downed the big boss in your game. That's what it's all about. So when you're playing your dungeons, your ops, your whatever else you're doing, you know, you down that boss, go for it. Have your one-shot boss. That's
And
awesome.
I'd like to throw out that if anybody has a boss that in their game that they'd like us
for
to
sure.
make a one-shot boss of, we'd be happy to do it.
Absolutely.
And feature that boss
Absolutely.
on our podcast. So.
Well, let's move on because we are trying to keep this an hour less than it was last week. So let's talk about Final Fantasy because we had some more news. Last week we talked about getting married, I think. I want to let Tachi start with whatever news he had, but I had something to add to that getting married controversy.
Well, we can talk
that
about getting married first.
You want to talk about getting married? Okay, let's just talk about it then.
Yeah, sure.
So at first, I thought this was a brilliant idea. I really did. I was like, this is kind of cool. You get married in a video game. Everybody meets in video games. They get married in video games. I was like, this is really good. But then I started thinking about this, and I was like, you know what people are going to do? They're going to emotionally cheat on their significant others in Final Fantasy. That's what they're going to do. You're going to have a bunch of husbands and wives that aren't really like all that excited about what they got going on at home. They're going to go into Final Fantasy. They're going to marry some stranger, and they're going to have these little emotional affairs. What do you guys think about that?
I think that's silly. I disagree
No,
with you,
'cause-
Boom.
Yeah?
I can tell you what most people are doing. Most people that want the awesome mount and the gifts, they're just getting another account because you can buy.
They're
the game for
marrying
25
themselves,
bucks.
is what you're saying?
Yeah, and marrying and all because you can be level 1 in being a wedding. So they level theirself. I mean, they marry themselves just so they can get the item. So
What
I
fun
feel like
is
if
that,
you're gonna
though?
do
You don't want to
this-
marry
And-
yourself.
But
That doesn't
no,
sound
let
like
me
fun.
ask you
not
this
yourself.
question.
It's like boxing in WoW, where you control both people at the same time.
I know, but you're like marrying yourself. You're having an
Well-
emotional affair with yourself.
No, wrong.
That's
okay,
like-
so let me ask you this: Do
That's
you
like
think
what
it's
you
wrong?
do in the bathroom.
Okay, do you think it's an emotional? You're cheating
I'm waiting
emotionally
for her to understand
if you
this.
play with somebody
What
else.
is that?
If you play a game with somebody else, like so,
No,
you and I.
No, I
Boom,
don't. I don't.
You, yeah. So that's so. Why is getting married being an emotional cheating situation?
I don't know. There just seems to be something more substantial to being married than just playing the game. Like if I'm just tootling off, we're just friends, that's one thing. But then all of a sudden I'm like, hey,
Well-
we want to be more than friends now. We want to get married. And yes, it's still in the context of a game,
Well-
but it feels like more than that to me.
I understand what your point is, but I think that is the exception, not the rule. I think most people who are doing it are like me, where I'm like, Tachi, that'd be so much fun. Let's get married. You
Right,
know,
right.
I'm not emotionally cheating on Wesley. Tachi's my buddy. You
Well,
know,
what do you think
How
about
is
that, Tachi? Though I mean, that's kind of a serious thing. I don't know. What do you think?
I think
So
it's the
would-
name that's getting you down.
Would your wife get mad if you just happened to marry me? If we were just messing around so we could get them out and stuff, would she get mad?
Possibly.
I mean,
that's what's kind of
I don't-
crazy about that is possibly if you and I are like running around a forest together and now we're married all of a sudden and the Tachi and Boob marriage now means that we're like frolicking through the forest holding hands and communicating to each other in a married way. Yeah, she would kind of a little bit.
So, like, if in WoW you could do the /flirt command. I mean, that's the way I look at it.
Right.
And I flirt with different
Everyone.
people, you
It
know,
seems
just-
to be more
just to be
substantial though
fun.
than flirting. It seems to be more substantial
you-
than flirting.
I think it's the name.
Tell her that if she wants to get married to you, she's going to have to play for 10 minutes or whatever.
Well, right, but that's just
But
it. My wife has no problem getting married to me in game. That seems like a really good, fun thing to do. It's more, the thought
Okay,
of me
let
getting
me
married
ask
to
you
somebody
this.
else. Mhm.
What about me?
Right.
Would Tia be angry if you married me?
I think she'd be jealous. in that situation.
Really?
Yes, I do. I think that that's a situation where there just could be some of that.
I don't think you're giving your wife enough credit.
All right. Well, I'm just saying, I really do think that this marriage thing in this Final Fantasy could be kind of a weird thing for some couples to go through, because, you know, it feels, you know, like maybe the person you're really married to isn't good enough for you, so you're going into a video game and you're pretending to be married.
Well, let me ask you one other question, Boom.
Mm-hmm.
This has come up not on the podcast, but you've alluded to it. I am in a play right now.
Right.
And in this play, I have to kiss
The vodka.
Right.
another person.
Right.
Is that cheating?
That, you know, that it's a really, really good point. It is a really good point. And no, it is probably not. But I'm not saying that everybody's going to have an easy time with that either, because that is a very, very hard thing to kind of overcome. Like, I think about these movies that people are making right now and the sex scenes that they're doing. Like, think of like the 50 Shades of Grey kind of a movie. And let's say I'm dating the lead actress in 50 Shades of Grey, and then she goes and makes that movie. I have a hard time, even though I know that that's fiction and my relationship with her would be real, I have a hard time separating that. That would be a weird thing for me to have to experience. I mean,
well, I would like to hear your wife's opinion on that. You should ask her and have her call. And rest in peace, anyone wearing earphones.
I just wanted to do that to you, just to drive you crazy, just once tonight.
I hate you.
I'm just saying, if you're going to do this and you're really married or dating, just tell the person first.
Right.
Say, hey,
Right.
I'm playing, you know, because you may have a husband or a wife that
Right.
doesn't care anything about gaming. They might think it's stupid or a waste of time.
Right.
Just ask them first, and if they say, yeah, I'd like to do it,
It's a good point.
then you could teach them how to play for an hour, which it takes, about an hour. That might try to get them to, like, if you have a girlfriend or a wife that doesn't want to play, you could say, hey, we can get married in this game, and, like, renew your vows or whatever. That would be so, like, romantic.
Right.
Tachi is the sweetest
Now,
person. Here
he
I
is,
am
he
going,
is.
who cares? Tachi's like,
cares?
take your significant other and teach them how to play the game, and
Yeah,
then you
and-
can exchange your vows together.
Yeah, right.
Ah,
and
Tati,
Tess is
you're
like,
the best.
screw your significant other. You just
like,
go in
fuck
there
it,
and
who cares?
you bang whoever in game you want to, because
You're
that's
not
just a
banging
game.
anyone. It's not like
Can you bang
you're
people,
getting married
Tachi?
and you're cybering.
Tachi, can you bang people? I know this isn't a
Do what?
Korean-made game, so there's not the extreme boob physics, but is there banging?
No.
Because I know that, Grand
remember
Theft
this is
Auto,
a-
there's just flat-out banging. You can just bang.
This is a game out of Japan. It's not,
Right. They're a little more...
They have very strict.
Right.
Pornography rules.
I'm just saying, I'm just throwing something out there that I think this is going to ruin some relationships. I just do. I feel
I think it
as
might
if
create some.
this is gonna create quite a few, and I really do think it's really cool for that. Now, can you marry multiple people?
No.
See, now we have a controversy. See, it's not me that's not open to new ideas and things. It's this game that's not open to new ideas and things. See?
But the game lets you marry anybody you want.
Right, but you can't marry
Human
multiple
race.
people. What if I want to have a three-way marriage thing going on with a couple people?
Write a letter to Japan.
Right.
I can't
exactly.
do it like you
You see
get.
what I'm saying? Right, exactly. I'm just saying, like, maybe there's a situation where you want to have a few people to come home to. Now, see, Fable, I can do that. I can come home to a few different people. Like, it's and I'm not saying that just because I live in Utah
Well,
right now.
that raises another good point, Boom.
Mhm.
What's the difference between it? Does it really make that much difference that there's a real person behind the avatar? Because
Yes.
obviously you didn't have a problem marrying a whole bunch of people in Fable.
Yes, I think it does have to do with a real. I think it does have to do with a real person.
You should
can't-
have a conversation with your wife. I
See
would
what I'm
love
saying?
to hear
You can't-
what she says.
You
about this.
can't marry your machine.
I will ask
you
my
know.
husband too.
All right, you ask your
And
husband
species.
if it's going to be weird if you're married to a bunch of different weird people online that you've never
Weird,
met.
it's Tachi.
You calling me weird?
You're
Hi,
married
Tachi.
to Tachi, that's one thing, but now you're going to marry a bunch of other weird guys, and then you're going to be
No.
kissing them too. And there's probably going to be boob physics involved.
All right,
then
let's
you're
move
gonna
on.
you're gonna want fake boobs, and it's just gonna be.
Let's let Tachi talk
this-
about other things.
This just keeps going on and on. Go ahead, Tachi. Tell us other stuff. I know nothing about this game. I have had no time to play this game. I have no ability to play this game right now. What else you got for us?
I wanted to talk about the dungeon and the fate scaling system.
Okay.
So, Final Fantasy has an active system where, like WildStar, you can whenever any dungeon can be done at any level. Where like if you have a level 50 and you want to come and help somebody do a dungeon, you can queue yourself up for the dungeon, and it'll auto scale you down to 20 or 30 or 15 or whatever the level of the dungeon is.
How come WoW has not done this yet?
Well, they're talking about it. They just talked about it. They're talking. It was called like time walking or something, and they're talking about putting that in.
So they gave it some funky.
And you know,
name.
it scales all your HP and all your stats down, so you're not just one-shotting everything.
Right. Does it
And
cost
it
like
gets rid of the
$16.99 to do that, or something?
Do what?
Does like WoW charge like $16.99 to do time walking? They're gonna be like, you can time walk, however, you have to pay us money. Just saying.
No, but it's nice. I've had some level 50s, like from I'll talk about my guild and stuff that I joined, or
yeah, talk about that because
that I joined later. Because I'm gonna talk about them at the end.
Okay.
But,
okay.
I got to say that this community has been the best community I've ever seen in an MMO. Like I've had nothing but help. I've done these fates and these dungeons that because you have to do story quests in order to progress with the storyline. Because Final Fantasy is a story-based game.
Right.
You're not going to level up from doing PvP and stuff. I mean, you've got your jobs and your classes and stuff that you can level up, but you're not going to, like you said, queue in PvP and just level. You have to play the story.
Right.
So
now,
I'm
how much is
a
the
big
sub
noob
for
when it
this?
comes to it. I said last week, but I think it's $12.99 for one character per server. It's all you need with this game because
because you can do everything,
the class
right?
system. Yeah, you can do anything.
Right.
And it's I think $14.99, the same as WoW, and you can do 8 characters per server. But I don't see you'd ever need more than one character.
Right. That's kind of one of those things where we were talking about earlier. Where do you really have to have so many characters? Yeah. I agree.
And I've just had nothing but help. I had some random person just come up and give me some gear because I told him I was new, and I asked questions in my free company chat, which is guild chat, and they're like, "Sure, here, we'll help you." And I'll talk about it later.
What
about
now?
my guild, though. But
Now
like
is there?
I'm
sensing that
joined
Tess may
dungeon.
need to be jealous here. I'm kind of sensing maybe a love connection. Somebody's just giving Tachi gear. Tess might need to be a little jealous here.
Person.
You're not jealous about?
No.
Tachi's getting gear now. He might
because
be
when
marrying.
we get married, what's his is mine. So whatever he gets in game.
I'm just wondering if Tachi's going to marry somebody else, though. Tess, you might be
Okay,
on the outs already, and you haven't even played yet.
Here's the scenario in WoW. You get a new player with no bonding account gear.
Right.
They join a dungeon. You say, "Hey, this is my first time in here. What's most likely going to happen in WoW?"
Kick.
They're going to vote kick you.
Right.
That's what's going to happen in WoW.
And in Final Fantasy,
That's
instead
just
of vote kicking, they make loving. It's
All
like
right.
a whole
They
different
help
thing.
You're not helping.
Right?
Like
That's
I
it's
say it's my
because-
first time in here, and they'll say, "Hey, welcome," and then they'll explain the fights before the pools, and I'm saying I'm voting like the
That's
best
great.
community Final Fantasy 14.
I'm excited about that. I think that's really, really a cool thing. I mean, that is part of it, right? Being able to be a part of a community is a big deal. And
Yes.
And we know what toxic communities do. Although I'll say this, it's kind of funny. We talk about the toxic community of League of Legends. It's the most popular game right now in the entire world. But it's kind of funny. It's like we're like, that's such a toxic game, but yet it draws the biggest crowd. So, but no, I only like to play games where it is like that. I felt like SWTOR has been like that to me as well lately. It's been kind of a thing. Although I did run a Flashpoint last night where it got a little rough. We might have had words, maybe.
Well, okay. Okay, so this goes back to that toxic community. Boom, when Boom used to run with our very, very good friend who doesn't really play much anymore, they used to be so mean to the people that were in their dungeons. Not so much Boom, but this other person that we would play with. They would, the second that someone would like pull, he'd be like, kick. And I'm like,
it wasn't even so much kicking. It was more just name calling in general.
And he'd be like, Boom, don't heal that person. They suck.
Yeah, it would just be like, just don't heal that retarded hunter that is not pulling or targeting the right boss or enemy or whatever. Yeah, and you're right.
You guys were mean.
There were a couple times when it actually got a little over the top where it was kind of mean, and I didn't mean it for it to be mean, but it actually did me mean. So, I can respect a, community. Now, do you feel, Tachi, that it's the game that is sort of creating that community, that maybe it's just a well-designed situation where you don't feel the pressure all the time to have only the best people in your group? Because I think that's what causes that meanness.
Well, these are story missions. So
right.
This Final Fantasy, I've heard, has some of the hardest content out of any rating, any rating or dungeons, because you got heroics, you got all this stuff that you can do. But it's a different type of game because it's more of a story-driven game. The PvP, they have PvP, right. But it's pretty much the whole player base is like, we don't even care that you've added PvP. Like we didn't have it at the beginning in 1.0 or ARR anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I get that because I think I've been a product of PvP worlds where I've kind of said they can be toxic. And PvP belongs in the games, but it almost belongs like WoW has done and SWTOR has done as a separate piece. Like, I like joining PvE worlds now. I used to want to join PvP worlds, but...
Well, because they used to make fun of you if you didn't. They used to think that if you were a PvEer, you're a loser,
Exactly. But now it's like, I prefer the PvE world and then just to separate that PvP because it's just a different game, really. To be, to be
because
honest.
Final Fantasy, there's no enemy faction. You don't have players that are the enemy. Like you don't have a horde in the line.
Oh,
right.
It's just
so then you get queued with your wife, and you just
together.
be beating your wife, and this is causing another problem that we have to address, right? That you can't have spousal abuse in your marriage.
All right. So moving on.
Right. You're gonna move us on to WoW Talk. All right. Let's move on to WoW Talk because we're going long already.
We're already long.
We're 3 minutes over the goal that I had set for this podcast. Let's talk some WoW Talk. I just wanted to mention one thing. I'm just going to throw it out there. I've been listening to a lot of World of Warcraft podcasts lately, and I've been noticing less World of Warcraft talk in these podcasts. So I'm noticing there's a lot of Hearthstone talk. There's a lot of Heroes of the Storm talk. There's a lot less World of Warcraft talk, and could it be the same reason that I quit? I'm just saying. Could it be?
No.
No.
It's just because there's
no news. We've had the patch. We had the patch 4 weeks ago, a month ago.
Right.
I mean, the battle for World First is over.
Right.
We've already beaten like a dead horse, the free to play token. So I mean, there's really no. Blizzard doesn't do updates just like all the time like some of these people do. They do every 3 months or 4 months. So
Sure.
There's really just nothing to talk about. I mean, we talk about our rating progress. Like I can say, like we down Thogar, so we've got 3 bosses left to go with the Dirty Casuals. So
that's really good.
I mean, that's pretty much it.
And I'm proud of the Dirty Seas. They do a good job. It's like the best rating group
I love my
ever
Dirty
belonged.
Seas. I miss them.
And,
it's a really good rating group.
I would like Boomtap to know that shamans right now are the best class in the game for PvE.
That's pretty awesome. I probably wouldn't be if it was me. I probably wouldn't be the best class, but that's awesome. And I'm going to get back into it at some point. Watch me. So what I'm going to do is wait till the end of the expansion. I'm going to get back in, and in 1 month's time, I'll be caught up to everybody. That'd be really fantastic. So that's what I'm planning on doing. Now, BlizzCon is coming up, and
BlizzCon.
Right, and I think they're going to release. Do you think? Well, let's just hypothesize. Do you think that they're going to release information about a new WoW expansion at this BlizzCon?
I don't.
You don't?
Yes, most definitely.
Tachi thinks you do.
I think that if they do make an announcement about one, it'll be There's gonna be one, and that's what they're gonna say. That's
Right.
it.
I think they have to. I don't know anything for sure, but I can't imagine the game has the popularity right now that they want it to. I'm just gonna say.
They're still at plus 10 million subscribers.
You think? I don't know what
There's
that
my
was.
phone.
That was awesome. That was awesome. Well, I think this BlizzCon is going to be Overwatch Con. I think this game is going to draw some serious masses, and I think they're going to market the heck out of it. That's what I think.
They've already announced that they're going to have a fall Overwatch beta or alpha or whatever, technical alpha or beta. They're probably in the technical alpha right now.
Right.
But I almost guarantee you we're going to see a WoW expansion, because they've already told us that they're trying to work on the 2 tier sets.
Right.
And this is tier 1, the first tier of the expansion.
Right.
And I think we're going to see the raid like maybe July. Well, I think they're going to drop it right when Final Fantasy has the expansion.
You think July we're gonna get our next one? I don't know.
Our next raid.
The
Well, maybe.
next raid tier.
We got
That would
April,
make sense, actually.
May, June,
Yeah.
and then July. That's
I mean, by
4
then
months
it's
of
going to
this
be
raid.
pretty dead. I mean, you're going to be really bored with the current raid tier. They're going to need to release that new one.
And they have
Is it going to
said
be
that they
something
don't want to
cool
do a
though?
Siege of
Because I'm
Orgrimmar
getting
again.
kind of right.
Yep.
Because I'm getting kind of like I need something more exciting out of the raids. I'm just saying.
So we'll get
Well,
that.
Do you think we're gonna get? Okay, here's my question. Do you think we're gonna go right into once we get our other raid? Do you think we're really gonna go right into news for another expansion, or do you think we're gonna get a Timeless Isle? I think we're gonna
No,
get a Timeless Isle. No, they're gonna
may.
want to suck every ounce that they can out of one expansion
I think
before releasing another one.
because we have that zone that we haven't been to that Blizzard
Right.
took out,
That's the Timeless Isle
Tanan
zone.
Jungle.
Right.
I think
right.
Tanan Jungle is going to be our Timeless Isle, where you'll
Sure.
do quests and stories, and then work your way to fighting the end boss, which I'm not going to spoil.
Right.
But you're going to have that. And Blizzard is not going to release
So
a raid.
are you saying,
that's
Tachi, you
gonna be
know
close
the
to
end boss?
BlizzCon.
Is that what you're saying? You know the end
Yes.
boss. You know who it's
Yes.
going to be. Is it?
Well, if you follow Twitter, they announced it.
Is it Korean?
Oh, well, then say it. You're not spoiling anything if they
Yeah,
announce it
I
on
think you
Twitter.
should. I'm just hoping the end boss was designed by a Korean.
Oh my God! All right, now we're leaving.
It's not
We're
a
going
woman.
on to the next thing.
It's
Well, I'm
not.
just saying. Let's.
Ugh.
So I'm going to prove my point. They're not going to release a raid that's any time close to BlizzCon, because you'll have the world first people, and they're not going to do it. So I think we're going to see that raid, and then BlizzCon they're going to announce the beta or whatever for the
Right.
expansion. We're also going to see maybe a Diablo 3 expansion.
I
and
think
a
that's
StarCraft
true
2
too.
expansion.
And I'm actually
What-
looking really forward to that Diablo 3 expansion. They've
So
got to
what
do
are they
something.
gonna
I'm
do
excited.
for a PVE race at BlizzCon? Are they gonna do Foundry for a PVE race?
No, they'll do, because by then that these
They'll be the
top
next
world
tier.
guilds,
Yeah.
they'll be already best in slot geared. So
So we won't have a PVE.
we will, but
Showdown?
it'll be the new raid, the new raid that we know nothing about.
Right.
Oh,
and,
okay. Yeah, no,
Right.
I gotcha.
And that
It'll be
I'm
the end
sorry,
content.
yeah.
that
next
makes
year.
perfect sense, actually.
Yeah, that makes sense. I got it.
Yeah, that makes sense that they would do that. And
Because
I
Blizzard
think
hired all those devs.
Yeah,
they've gotta have
Tachi
them
has it all
working on
figured out.
something.
Tachi's got it all figured out. Have you been enjoying the game, Tachi? I mean, you've been really enjoying.
Yes.
There you go. That's the key, right? Everybody I've
enjoying it.
talked to says they're still enjoying the game. Tachi, you had a monumental accomplishment this week. What was it? Tell us what that big achievement was.
I got the achievement on a metric ton of missions. I completed 1,000 garrison missions.
There you go.
Holy crap.
1,000 garrison missions. I did 2 garrison missions. And then
I have 7 100s, so I think they all count.
I did
Oh.
That's the only
2.
way.
See, I did 2 and then I quit the game. So he's got a lot more resolve.
You're a
than I do.
negative Nelly.
Missing
You're
out.
a
I'm not.
negative Nelly.
I am not. When it comes to Korean design games, I am not negative at all.
Oh my gosh,
not.
you suck.
I am not a negative Nelly. Well, I think I would like to go ahead and move us into our Wild
I think
Star
that your
talk.
wife would be more jealous about your fascination with Korean boobs.
Oh, she's totally fascinated with them as well, so it's all good. we're a boob family. That's what it's all about. It's all about the treble. Let's talk real quick about Wild Star, because I still like this game. I still play this game. And I found out a little more this week about contracts. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but contracts is like a new questing system that they're doing at the cap level. So you can go and you can pick up these contracts. And how it works is every player can see 5 contracts. So when you go up to this contract quest giver, essentially, you're going to see 5 different contracts. You can take 3 contracts at a time. And then they also have 3 PvP and 3 PvE contracts. And then there are different levels of difficulty. And you can go out and you can complete these contracts and you get higher rewards than you would for just doing a quest, right? That's what the contracts are. I think this is, again, a step in the right direction. Everything they're doing is to add more content post level 50. They're adding a new raid tier. They're doing all this stuff. So all of this content that was not accessible before, I think, is now actually very accessible. And I think this is, again, another step in the right direction. They're coming up on their 1-year anniversary. And as they enter that 1-year anniversary, I actually am very optimistic for this game that it can be 5, 10, 15 years from now, a fantastic title. That's all I have to say about that.
Where's the at Carbine? Where's the buy to play model?
There he
where's
goes.
it at?
There he goes. He had to add that in, the buy to play. And I don't know, actually. So here's the thing. I thought for sure there would be some sort of a buy to play announcement, but they're not announcing it, which makes me think that maybe they're content with the current state of subscriptions. Maybe it's just enough that they're just like, I'm good.
Or maybe they're just waiting for the year 1 mark to see where they're at, and
June
then they're
3rd.
gonna.
June 3rd. It could be that. But
And that's when I'm gonna start.
it's kind of weird because Guild Wars it's very successful with its buy to play model.
Militus
it's-
loves his
Right.
Guild Wars.
So it's kind of weird how they haven't explored this. So I'm thinking Carbine itself is like, no, we're going to continue down the subscription path. It's a fantastic game, by the way, and I'm continuing to subscribe to it because I continue to have fun in it. So that's the way that is. And not all the games have done that. I've only subscribed to 2 right now. So, that's the way that is. So
I
unless
thought
you
you
guys had
subscribed
anything,
to Secret World. Did you drop that?
I did, but I dropped it because I'm just not like, I can't play Secret World with only myself. Like if I don't, and we're in the spring slump, and I just don't have a lot of people to play with me.
They just released the 2nd level. What
Right.
used to be the first level of you had to buy it in order to play it. The next zone area they added into the buy to play area.
Right.
So you're all good. You're all good for a while. So yeah.
And so that was my thing, is that when we were playing every Monday and I was rolling out the Secret World, it was great. And this leads us into the Secret World talk, I think. They've got new content even coming out for this game. So this game is very, very popular. This game is just kicking butt.
I love it. I want to play more.
It is remarkable. Right, I do want to play more of it. I feel as if, though, I have to have a team of people going into this game.
I do too.
I just can't solo quest this game. It just isn't.
It's too scary for me.
See, for me, it's just, it gets to be too hard. And
Well, that goes into it.
Right. It's just, it's just one of those things where I don't want to die all the time. I want to be kind of, I want to ride that. I want to ride that level. So, they're issuing this thing called the Fall of Tokyo pack. And then you get, with this Fall of Tokyo pack, you get 3 issues. And you get a couple side stories. You get an exclusive outfit. That this game is big on giving you outfits and different things like that.
Which is cool.
It is really cool. And, I'm into those outfits as well. But you also get issue 11, which is Reaping the Whirlwind, and it's released in April. And I don't know exactly what this is going to be. It seems like it's the conclusion of this other story that's kind of taking place in Tokyo. So there's going to be this whole kind of, I think they're kind of putting a cap to it, and then they're going to kind of move on from there. But there's a whole bunch of things that are going on with that. So if you're a big The Secret World player, probably not been a better time for you to just keep going and just having a blast. And there's lots of good specials and deals for you out there. So I think it's a lot of fun. And we did not play this week. So I did not play The Secret World. I didn't play any. In fact, SWTOR has taken up all my time except for a little bit of time where I leveled in WildStar, where I did do some questing, and it's just remarkable. The very minute I do a couple quests in WildStar, I just go, oh man, I remember why I like this. It's so funny. I get away and I play Star Wars for a minute, and I come back and I'm like, oh my gosh, SWTOR is amazing. So that's all I have to say about that. Let's talk, and I know that we're long-winded here, but let's talk about the quick news from the MMO world. We had a game, by the way, that was introduced on our forums, on our chat forums, our Dirty C forums, called revivalgame.com. Have you guys heard of this or know anything about this? This is
yeah.
It's just crazy to me. It ties in with our whole crowdfunding thing and all that other stuff we were talking about a couple weeks ago. Revivalgame.com. Tachi, did you see the post and everything? Did you see everything that was going on with this?
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think of this game?
I'm not jumping aboard the hype train until they have a game.
How is it that a game is
an engine
gets a hype train this quick?
Well, yeah, it doesn't even, like Tachi just said, it doesn't even have an engine. So,
well, it may have an engine. It's just really, really early, and I just don't see.
It's so weird to me though, because like the hype train is rolling on this game, and all they have is some like sample pictures. Now I'll give it this: whoever's doing the artwork for them is phenomenally talented. This artwork looks legit, and so I don't know what's going on as far as their artwork, but they've got it going on. But there's really not that much else explained in there. It's just a bunch of pictures of shacks and houses and mansions. Yeah, that's all it really is.
And it's ridiculous amount of money.
Give me a video of somebody walking around or just showing off something. They say they have an engine, but you really can't prove it.
Right.
This could be all smoke and mirrors,
Could be.
This could be all smoke and mirrors saying, hey, give me your money. And 2 months later or a month later, they say, well, we're not making it anymore. We're not making the game. I'm sorry.
It really could be.
We got sued and we have to shut down.
Right. Now they're calling it old school role playing, Lovecraftian horror.
Now that's the only thing that makes me want to at least watch the progress of this game, because I love Lovecraft. Like Cthulhu, bring it. I'm stoked about that.
It's actually like everything I looked at the site, I had a hard time not getting excited. This is a marketing genius that is running this
but Tachi's right, it could all be smoke and mirrors. It could be nothing but nicely done graphics. There's no video, there's no proof, there's no evidence. So I am not going to shell out. I mean, and the amount of money they're asking for is ridiculous.
Right, you get a shack. So like for $36-40,
for
$36,
you're getting a shack.
You don't even get the game.
Tenement.
You're buying a house, and this shack is. I don't know that I'd take a poop in the shack.
Yeah, and then in order to get like an actual house with like a door, and like 2 rooms. Now they're asking for $80, and then to get a house that has like a lawn and like 4 rooms, it's like $200. It's ridiculous the amount of money that they're asking for.
This is the crazy part to me, is that they're sold out. Like there's entire zones of all of this housing and worlds and everything that's sold out, and it's a lot like Star Citizen to me right now, where there's $10,000 spaceships that they're flying off the shelves. It just is crazy to me because there's no game. And Star Citizen's space battles feel exactly to me like the Star Wars that you can just go play. You can go play Starfighter. It's just weird to me.
Play for free.
Right. It's just weird to me what's going on right now in this crowdfunding. But I tell you, it's hard not to get sucked in, because I think all of the rational thoughts you just mentioned to me, I think all of those rational thoughts. But at the same time, I look at some of the stuff.
You're reaching for your wallet.
And I go, that's really cool. I don't want to miss out. And then the hype has got me thinking, well, if I don't buy it now, then I'm not going to get a place. And the funny part about this is that even if you buy a place to live, there's no guarantee you get to keep that, because it can be stolen from you, burned down, looted, destroyed. You cannot pay the taxes on it and lose it. So you could pay $40 for a little hut and not even have it a couple days after the game starts.
Yeah, yeah.
Wild. It's wild to me.
It's weird.
I said I'm in the wrong business. I mean,
right.
I don't understand.
They're selling digital real estate. It's ones and zeros. It costs nothing to make. Literally nothing. And people are spending $800.
Well, it costs something. There's artwork and server space and all that stuff.
It costs coding time.
Right.
But in the end, it's not tangible. It's not real. And this early in the game, I'm not going to pay for ones and zeros. Later on, when the game is released and I can see the game and I can play the game, I'll totally spend money on ones and zeros. Like, I'm cool with that.
But how crazy is it, though, that you could spend this money on these ones and zeros and you could lose it within some really good PvP player could take it from you. That to me is just...
Tachi's like, I'll take it from you.
Yeah, exactly. And see, that's my problem.
I was punching my monitor.
Right.
I was punching my monitor.
As you do,
that's how
you just punch.
Pissed off I would be.
But that's right. I can't even imagine. So we played WildStar, and Tess, you didn't get to experience this, but there was this guy named Spoon when we played WildStar, and I've
heard about Spoon.
He was this guy that was in all ranked PvP gear, and he would stand outside the zones where everybody was just running their dailies, and they're in PvE gear. And there was a significant differential between PvE gear and PvP gear. So it wasn't this. He was a talented player. Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't like he was the end all of players. The fact of the matter, he was just overpowered for everybody else. So what he would do is he would just beat everybody down. A player like him is going to take this game and they're going to steal everything from everybody, and nobody is going to want to play it. That's my prediction.
Yeah, well, it's Arcade.
It just takes one dude to come in there and just blow everything out. Now, at least in Arcade, I can just roll a free character and stand on the corner and just bounce up and down and do what I do, jump and stuff.
Arcade is a free-to-play game, and you can get the housing. Now they changed it. You can get the housing as a free player. But you know how mad I would be? I spent like a week's time working on my ship in Arcade, and I know all you have to do is go back to the auction house and buy an alchemist potion to get your ship back. You know how mad I would be if I spent a week's time on this piece of the ship and then somebody destroyed it and I didn't get it back.
And now add like you paid $240 for that.
Yeah.
That's
if I paid that much money for it,
it's ridiculous.
It is pretty crazy.
You'd have to come and check me at the hospital because I'd probably just be so mad I'd get a heart attack or something.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, everybody should check it out. It is interesting.
So
I want everybody's opinion on this because
it's worth following.
It is very worth following. It's called revivalgame.com, and there's some people that are just all about this, by the way. They are heads in, they're shelling up. They broke out the Amex, they're going for it on this game.
Well, you know what else is really, really interesting, and I just today started looking into it, and it is definitely worth a look, is that Skyforge game.
Yeah.
I would not buy a damn thing yet, but they have videos, they have I can see things moving around, and they have they've released class stuff, and it's a lot like Secret World in that it's you only get one character, but you could be anything in that character, and it's. You're trying to become a god. You're an immortal warrior, and you're trying to become a god. The graphics look freaking awesome. In fact, to the point where I wonder if I can run it. And it looks cool. So Skyforge, take a look at it. It looks interesting.
Well, one last game I'd like to talk about, which is Crowfall, which we've been talking about and we've been keeping an eye on. We Tess and I call it a MOBA. We get a lot of grief about that, but
it is a MOBA.
The more and more I read about it, so this ties into the game that we just talked about in the Revival game. these games have a very, very hardcore feel to me, because Crowfall also feels hardcore, because Crowfall is like King of the Hill. It's like last man standing kind of a thing. Like you're the one winner of this round that you're playing, and they call it the Crone, or the Crown. The Crown.
You okay there, Boomy?
No.
Need another drink?
I think so. They call it the Crown something. I don't know. They have a title for it, but that's what you're playing for, is this ultimate crown that you got to get. And so I'm kind of wondering if it's just too hardcore for the average player. I don't know.
I think it is. Oh, and that's just me. And I don't want to be negative, because I don't want to be a negative person, but anything to me that I can lose. If I work hard on something, I don't want to be able to lose it.
Absolutely.
And anything like that, that's just me.
Absolutely.
Excuse me.
And I think that's really what it boils down to, right? You want to play a game in which you feel that all of your hard work and effort has added to some part of your play, and it really builds it up and just keeps you going. And when something like a PvP player can come in and take it over, while I admit that there's a select group of people that really appeals to the I'm better than you, and they're just going to go in, they're just going to whoop each other, and it's just hardcore play. I just don't feel like that's the type of game I want to play. And so, Crowfall kind of fits into that genre right now, where I'm like, there's a lot of this PvP stuff, the King of the Hill kind of the games coming out right now, and I'm not sure how they feel they're competing with the World of Warcrafts of the age right now, which that's not what they're about at all. It's weird.
And it's also that I'm not very good at PvP. It makes me nervous. I play more poorly when I'm playing PvP, because I get all nervous, and I just don't like it. That's just me.
Well, Diablo 3, I know you don't play a lot of this, Tess, but Diablo 3's got a new season coming out, and this is a game that I wish I had more time, because I have played the everything, the expansion, all of that stuff, and I played through it. I actually find myself craving to go back to that game more than any of the other games right now, because it's just so much fun. I don't know what it is about going through a dungeon crawler and killing everything in sight and just laying waste to things, but I really, really like that game. So I'm excited for a new season, even though I didn't get the last season rewards because I never made it to the max level. But
I could carry you, in 10 minutes if you wanted to.
See, then we're going to do that. I'm going to take you up on that, Touch, and we're going to talk about it, because I would like to do that very much. But I'm excited about it. I'm excited about a possible new expansion too, because I really think this game has a lot of potential, and I think if they continue to add stuff to it, Diablo's got a really bright future, kind of moving on. So that's all I had about that. Let's go ahead and move to reviews and shout-outs. I just wanted to toss my shout-out this week to all of the people that just listened last week. We had a tremendous acceptance.
I can't believe it.
On the interwebs. I had a lot of fun, hearing about all of the people that we're just checking out the show. So thank you, everybody who listens. Please continue to listen. And then if you don't like something about the show, let us know. If you like something about the show, let us know, so that we can continue to make this show better. That's what we try to do every single week, is just make it better. Mm-hmm. How about you, Tachi?
Oh, it's Tess's turn.
Oh,
I have a lot.
Sorry, Tess. It's your turn.
Go ahead.
Okay. So we got an iTunes review from Tachi. Thanks, Tachi. You're the best.
That's awesome.
You're my favorite. I also want to thank my personal buddy, James. He listened to our podcast. I told him about it. He was really stoked because he's a big Star Wars fan. And then at rehearsal today, he called me Tess, and it creeped me out. But James, if you're listening, you're awesome. I also want to give one to the Brotherhood Redemption in ESO. Another shout out. I'm probably going to be playing with them quite a bit in the future, because Mama Tess got me the game. Mama Tess got me ESO. So
wow. So you're going to be playing that a little bit more here coming up.
I'm not playing anything new until June. So, but she did get it for me. So in June, I'm going to be playing that a little bit. But
right.
And then finally, To our very, very good friends who are running the Nation podcast. They're talking about the division right now. You know, Haystack and Militus and all of those guys. We sure do love you. Go listen to them. They're amazing.
It is so much fun to listen to, by the way. They're funny guys.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, Tachi, what you got for us?
So I've got the Game Breaker Nation Guild on the Behemoth server in Final Fantasy 14. A bunch of helpful people. They're a casual and progressing like we are, but they have two raid teams, and they're always helpful. So it's just www.gamebreakernation.com, and you can apply there, and they'll get with you. And if you want to play Final Fantasy, they do ESO as well, and WoW, and all kinds of stuff. Also have the awesome person of the week, which I'm giving to a person on Final Fantasy 14 called Noble Alexandria. I don't know if that's him or her. She has a female character.
Is this a potential marriage in the making?
No, she's
Tess, are you getting
way
jealous?
Cool.
All right.
So she's helped me with dungeons and giving me just helpful advice if I need a stupid question from an MMO noob or a Final Fantasy 14 noob. And I just want to say, remember, you can make it if you try with a hop, skip, and a jump.
Oh, Puddin'.
There he goes, giving us a word of encouragement as we motor on out. And I just want to remind everybody to drink responsibly and make sure that you take care of all those loved ones out there. And we are.
And if you want to fight Boom,
Yes.
just let me know. I'll fight him for you.
Yeah, no need to fight me. I'm on your side. Everything I say, I'm totally on your side, right? I have no opinion that can't be swayed that's not so strong that I'm not on your side. So it's all good. It's all good. On that note, we are out for our 10th ever Kind of a Big Deal Gaming episode, and I want to thank Tachi now for being the new permanent third member of the podcast. That's really awesome, Tachi. Thank you for joining us, and we hope we break all kinds of records next week with listenership. So please tell everybody about our podcast. Thank you and have a good night.
See ya.